Happy, happy Halloween.
It's almost time. Hurry home.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy.
If it goes out, it means the death of millions of people, everyone watching. Don't you understand that?
The decision not to use the Michael Myers character was stupid, and why they decided to leave that, I do not know.
No, I can't prove it. You've got to believe me. Believe me. Take it off the air now, please.
There was a horrible backlash. It was crushing for me because, it was perceived as a flop.
Dark masks, gather round your TV set, put on your masks, and watch.
If it hadn't been called Halloween 3, if it was just called Season of the Witch or some other title, it may have gotten a better reception.
Take off the third channel. The third channel. It's still running. Stop it, please. For God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time.
When I saw it, I thought, well, this is a terrific little scary movie in the tradition.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
But it died a terrible death. It did not. And I've done a number of films like that.
Stop it!
It's a real riddle how we got to Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. When the concept of Halloween 2 came along, I just hated it. I withdrew from the project. I was in New York when Deborah called me and said, hey, we're going to do Halloween 3. Would you think about being the director? It was a godsend because I had been worried all along that our paths had just, split and weren't going to get back together ever. And when she said it's not a real sequel, it's not going to have anything to do with the other two, I went, I'm in.
I take no responsibility for Halloween 3 or credit. I had nothing to do with it. They just sent me a nice fat check. The decision not to use the Michael Myers character was stupid. It was really ill-advised. We now know that Michael Myers is the backbone of this whole franchise, and why they decided to leave that, I do not know. I was not consulted.
Our thinking makes great sense and is a real money-making idea that everybody somehow just managed to drop the ball, including Universal Studios. And that is this: each year, let's come out with a new movie on the subject of Halloween, All Hallows Eve, and all that goes with it. It could go in any direction it wants, and each one can spin off any number of their own sequels. Now, tell me, is that not a great, fertile idea that could make money for the rest of time?
Halloween 3, for me, was really sort of fun from the standpoint that it wasn't making a sequel that was a Michael Myers film that we were sort of rehashing. It was, in fact, an opportunity to create new adventures and visuals that made it enjoyable for me.
Halloween 3 is not a knife movie the way Halloween was. Halloween 3 is a pod movie. Halloween 3 owes a lot to the Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I like Tommy Lee Wallace, and I thought his contributions to Halloween 1 were immeasurable. He was really a very much a part of its success, and I think this was a reward from his friend John Carpenter, who they were boyhood friends, and it's to Carpenter's credit that he championed Tommy Lee Wallace.
I mean, he was the production designer and the editor, so he was a serious contributor to Halloween 1, but also understood the sensibilities of that kind of, suspense filmmaking. And so that to me was very encouraging.
He had the same temperament as John and Rick. They're just easygoing. He knew what he wanted, and he set it up. This is what we're going to do. Fine.
I thought he was terrific as a director. He knew what he wanted to get. We went to terrific locations, and he was real easy on the set.
He did not have the ego that some directors can have, and some certainly writer-directors. So he was great to work with. He really was.
The sole written by credit on Halloween 3 for the screenplay is just about the most inaccurate credit you could ever conceive of. Nigel Neal, the well-established icon in horror because of his invention of the Quatermass character in British television and features that had a lot of mileage. John was a big fan. I think it was John who was instrumental in getting him to come up with a screenplay for Halloween 3 based on a concept that Deborah had been promoting, which was basically witchcraft meets the computer age. He had had some lousy experiences in Hollywood, and from his perception, I believe he felt that, as a general rule, Hollywood had mangled his stuff. And so it's almost like he had a chip on his shoulder. And so when he turned in his screenplay and we read it, any criticism that we gave was going to meet with some resistance, I think. And we did have criticism. It was moody, it was dark, it was fascinating. I loved it. I'd say fully half, probably more, 60% of what he did is what that screenplay is. John was the first one who did a rewrite. He may have been surprised that his protege, me, wasn't all that enamored with what he had done, so I did a rewrite. But anyway, I was the only one with a name on the movie. So you can see what a ridiculous credit that is.
I think there was, again, this sort of team feeling about it. The fact that we were all going to be working on a variation, but, all of us, bringing our own skills and artistic sensibilities.
I did get the job on Halloween 3 because I had done Halloween 2. I think it's almost the exact same crew. A lot of the same people are on both movies. Because Deborah Hill, remembered us all, and she was very loyal, and she just, said, hey, who wants to do another one?
The cast on Halloween 3 were completely different.
I don't know, your father came into the hospital, and I thought he was crazy, out of his mind. He's hanging onto a Halloween mask, he wouldn't let it go. And what he said was, they're gonna kill us all. And in a little while, he was dead. And I don't know what the hell is going on.
Tom was already sort of a member of the family. And it was Deborah who suggested Tom. Not your most obvious choice, not a pretty boy, not a youth, but she felt that would be a nice, different way to go, and I completely agreed, so that was easy.
Drinking and doctoring, great combination.
I didn't feel very much like a medical professional because, right off the bat, I walk into my house and Nancy Loomis is my wife. She's actually Tommy Lee Wallace's wife at the time while we were shooting, and I walk out on her and the kids. Have a couple of beers and run off with some young chick and head north. I don't know what the hell kind of a doctor I was. A classic story, Spanky.
Like Tommy Lee Wallace having no ego, Tom Atkins the same. He was not like your typical actor who's, all worried about himself and me. He was as gracious and as charming and as generous an actor as you get to work with.
He always took the job seriously, but never took himself seriously. So it was always fun, working with him.
There are a lot of actors that have been around a long time who choose kind of what they do during their career. And I never really had that luxury. To me, a job was a job. If somebody invited me to play a starring role in a movie, hell yeah, I'll do it, I'm there.
Is this my father?
I was traumatized by seeing The Exorcist when I was a young girl, so I stayed away from horror movies. I got a copy of the script and I thought, wow, this is a great part. And I went in to read.
John was there, Deborah Hill was there, and Tommy Lee, and a couple of other people, and we sat in a room and saw the final 3 or 5 girls that they had selected to narrow it down. And as soon as Stacy walked in, everybody perked up.
Literally, as I walked in the door returning from the audition, they offered me the part. I mean, that never happens, so it was great. What I liked about Ellie was she was a strong girl. She didn't give up. I liked the flirtatious aspect of her. She went for what she wanted, and she basically got it, except in the end. But she was a strong character, and I like strong female characters. I think we all do.
We did one scene together, Stacy Nelk and I. We're coming down the road in the car, and there's a telephone pole like this, and the camera's shooting this way, and I'm supposed to come and not clip the telephone pole, but go by it. And then we cut to it, I'd run into the tree. And I came barreling down the road, came across, wham, I hit the pole, not hard, but enough that she went, ee! Squeal. And then we went off and everything came off fine. Nobody got hurt.
Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice?
That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge.
Doing the love scene with Tom, that always stands out because that was my first and only time I've done a scene like that, which I was quite anxious about. But he made me feel so comfortable, and he was wonderful. There was a no nipple clause, so they could shoot my breast, but they could not shoot my nipple. Couldn't see this, couldn't see that. So poor Tommy Atkins and Tommy Lee Wallace, you have to shoot around this, and he has to cover up here, and these things are so technical.
We spent a lot of time together on that film. Jeez. And then she tried to kill me at the end. What the hell was that about?
You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy.
Again, it was Deborah's suggestion that we try Dan O'Herlihy, and again, just a home run.
An opportunity to work with an actor like Donald Pleasance was on the first one, a professional, somebody you had seen in films before, so he had a great deal of credibility. It was interesting because he also brought with him understanding of the mythology, the Celtic mythology of Samhain or Halloween, that we were using. So he had, not only on screen, a presence, but also we felt a sense of authenticity in everything we did because he was there to confirm it.
Dan O'Herlihy was an extremely talented man, extremely talented. He helped really make the movie. If his character wasn't as threatening and creepy and maniacal as he was, but with that very smooth exterior, the movie would not be what it was. He was an extraordinary actor, and as a human being, he was lovely.
I kind of looked up to him, I think, He had been doing it a long time, me not quite so long. We didn't spend a lot of off-camera time together, but he was certainly packing all the ammo when he needed to be as evil as he was, with an Irish smile on his face. Typical Irish, I've often thought of that. I've been to Ireland a couple times for visits, and you go there, and they're also, "Hail fellow, well met, hi Yank, have a beer, what do you think, how you doing," all that. And I've always thought that just underneath that smiley surface is someone just waiting to knock you in the face and knock you down, and then smile over top of you.
What I want to know is why they put their factory out here in the middle of nowhere.
We shot the Mystery Town Santa Mira, a little village up in Northern California, played the part. And in real life, it's every bit as strange as it appears on film.
It was such a small, sleepy, quiet town that you kind of got the creeps from it, because it was one of those where everybody's watching everybody and everybody knows what's going on with everybody. But it had a weird vibe. It really did.
You do get this eerie feeling when you go into town that people are behind curtains looking out. We didn't have to stretch very much.
We went on location, the site of a paper pulping factory, and it is the stinkiest place I've ever been in my life.
We did that stuff for days. It felt like nights, a lot of night shoots. And running up the street, down the street, climbing into a window, out of a window, going up a ladder, across a roof, jumping down here and doing that. And I was sick as a dog. I don't know what I got, but I thought at the time, Jesus, if I had to go up that ladder again, I'm going to drop dead. And half of it didn't get in the movie. And I thought, I love being an actor.
We thank Don Post for 2 of the 3 masks. The witch and the skull already existed. And we collaborated on the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern, with Don. But I figured out the rationale for Halloween 3 is that that's what the mask maker is calling these 3 masks that are being sold in the stores this year. And so somehow I shoehorned that into the whole makeup of the thing, which is just a desperate director wanting to make his movie make sense.
When do we get to see him making the masks?
Real soon, little buddy.
Then there's the whole comic relief of there's a family of people that sell these masks that come to the town, and it was like a husband and wife and a kid in a Winnebago. That was the most fun I got to have on the movie in terms of clothing. I dressed them to be, you know, as ugly Americans as I could possibly do, and it really shows.
Oh, I want a mask. Can I have a mask?
My role was Little Buddy, and I was the obnoxious little son. And we were up on a trip, seeing the factory, and that was the last time I watched TV.
Honey, don't get too close. You'll ruin your eyes.
The death scene, which was a fun part, they made a mold of my head. So when they were making the mold, they were explaining to me what was going to happen. And as a 12-year-old kid, you know, hearing that snakes and bugs are going to crawl out of your mouth, that's kind of exciting. And they made a mold of my head, and then they reversed the mold. And then they melted it to the shape of the mouth that they wanted me to have. So it was pretty much when the snakes and bugs were coming out, it was a dummy from about here up. The parts where bugs were crawling over, they had like a stand-in, a stunt person for that. But the mask, when I was ripping it apart, you know, they only made one mask, so they make sure to do it right. Because that mask, it would fall apart if you gave it some tug, and that's what that was the part I did. They had all kinds of crickets, but when they would let the crickets go, obviously they couldn't contain all the crickets. So at the end of the shoot, the studio was just, all you heard was just crickets, people going nuts. So once we were done, we were just out of there, because my mother, she was like, I can't take it anymore, let's get the hell out of here.
We've done perverted things in the name of entertainment and kind of ruining the wearing of masks, so sorry.
Stop it now, turn it off, stop it!
I think it ended happily. I think they do turn off that final television channel and all the kids of the world are saved. Yeah.
You're an optimist.
I am. My wife wouldn't agree with that, but I think I am, yeah.
Halloween 3 was just take everything you guys know how to do and go for it. Our sound that we had established collectively from Escape from New York and got super imprinted on Halloween 2 and then Halloween, and then The Thing a little bit, is the palette we made it from. So John really thought we found a great little notch that was Halloween-like, but it wasn't Halloween anymore. So he felt we successfully did that. And then we just went on from there, and whatever we came up with on sort of on the fly. You know, in fact, I had created the technology, or shaped the technology at the time, so that it was really start the movie and just start playing. So John referred to that technology as the electronic coloring book. And there's no big technical sweat to making these things happen. It got easy, and he loved the fact that it was easy.
All right, roll it.
One of the most fun things about Halloween 3 is the Silver Shamrock theme.
Da, 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 da.
3 more days till Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween.
3 more days till Halloween.
Silver Shamrock.
Oh my God.
Just thinking about the song, I can't get it out of my head.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
We needed a jingle. No money in the budget to hire some guy to go, hey, make a jingle, please.
I remember when Deborah said, you and Tommy are going to make this theme up. Go ahead. And she says, use the theme from London Bridge is Falling Down. So we have no problems with copyrights. That's completely PD. So when you think about it, that's what it is. Da, 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 da. But then I went and dialed up this, on my synthesizers, this little silly thing.
I think we knocked out the Silver Shamrock commercial in about a week. We generally don't know the music before we try to create something, so we had no idea what the music was going to be. That was a major surprise.
I discovered I could do adequate voiceovers or create fake sound effects just for temp work in the cutting room.
So I slowed down the tape recorder, and Tommy Lee Wallace sang that much like the Chipmunks would do. So he had the thing, 3 more days to Halloween, and then you speed up, and so the pitch came up and the whole track came up.
It turned out that I had a certain cheesy radio announcer voice that John liked, and used it in Halloween and again in The Fog as the smooth sound, K-A-B, which I loved doing. So this was no different.
Gather round your TV set, put on your masks, and watch.
The big giveaway at 9, Just, I was fast, and I was right there, and I was free. And so, once again, no brainer.
It's one of those strange, really graphic images and sound that I think it's basically designed after kind of a commercial jingle that sticks in your head, and then you kind of take it out of the theater and get freaked out about it after you've seen the movie.
Turn it off. Stop it.
I can honestly say I have never done another one like that. So it's a very unique highlight of my career. It's one wild little moment, but it has stuck around, which I think is remarkable.
People remember that. You leave the movie and that's going through your head. That maddening, repetitive song.
Stop it!
Halloween. The dead might be looking in.
Stop it!
The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. Happy Halloween.
Halloween 3. Season of the Witch. The night no one comes home.
First time I saw the final film, I believe, was when we went to Las Vegas. That was a nice little perk. For there was a screening of it, and we were all flown to Vegas for the night. And I believe that was where I saw the film for the first time.
When I saw it, I thought, well, this is, it's good. It's a terrific little scary movie and in the tradition. But it died a terrible death.
The film did not get a lot of good reviews. It did not stay in the movie theaters for longer than maybe a week. It did not do very well.
Sequels are an expectation by the audience of a continuation of the characters they loved. And I think packaging it as presumably a sequel was disappointing to the audience because they had certain expectations.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, myself included, did the due diligence thing of making sure the audience knew what was happening. It would have required a really clever ad campaign, and nobody came up with it.
Everybody booed. Where's Michael? Where's Michael? I don't think they had any idea how big this character would get. when they decided not to use him again.
It says Halloween 3, so where's Jamie Lee? You know, where's the big knife? Where's the shape?
You have John Carpenter's name on it, and you have the title Halloween, and it was 3. It wasn't just Halloween. It was Halloween 3.
You know, so it had the baggage of that it had to drag along of being attached to Halloween 1 and 2. If it hadn't been called Halloween 3, if it was just called Season of the Witch or some other title, it may have gotten a better reception.
There was a horrible backlash. It was crushing for me because, you know, it was perceived as a flop.
And it was the producers who said, look, Michael Myers is making us so much money, it's just dumb to forget the anthology thing.
And happily, for Mustafa Akkad, as it turned out, the sequel rights reverted back to Compass, and there they sat for quite a while before another movie was made.
And so at that point, sort of John and Deborah didn't want to play anymore.
So I have to say I was disappointed, you know, as did John and Deborah and everyone involved, that the audience didn't grasp onto it as we had hoped.
So we're sort of the bastard child, the black sheep of the family, but that's okay.
Thank you all for coming out tonight for Halloween 3. This is so awesome. I know it's basically Halloween tonight and parties and everything, so it's really cool that you guys all came.
I lived for years and years with the certain perception that it had been a failure and that not very many people liked it. I thought it was a good movie, and I knew that John thought it was a good movie, and Deborah. And so that was good enough for me. It hurt that it didn't find an audience, but what can you do? You just have to butch up and go on with your career.
Let's bring up the man of the hour here. We got Tommy Lee Wallace right here. Writer and director. Yeah. So one thing, I'm never quite sure. Is she a robot the whole movie, or do they turn her into one at the end?
I don't know. Why ask me? When I went there and signed some autographs and shook hands and took photographs with people, I was flabbergasted at how many people adored Halloween 3 and took it to their hearts and thought it was a fine movie and enjoyed the hell out of it. That was the first inkling I had that anybody cared.
I saw it on cable, and I always liked it. This movie is its own animal, and it's very unique. Lots of kids get killed. It's sort of taboo. You can't do that anymore. It has terrific performances. Dan O'Hurley, he is excellent in the film. You have amazing cinematography from Dean Cundy, who did The Thing, Escape from New York, Halloween, The Fog. So he's one of the best in town.
Happy Halloween.
I think recently there's been kind of a re-interest in Halloween 3. I think a sort of a rediscovery, reappreciation.
You know, it found itself, audiences found it. When I meet people that ask about it, they all pretty much seem to really like it and enjoy it.
It's amazing that 30 years later, it's snowballed with all these fans, and it's become this cult classic. That's extraordinary to me.
The popularity, it's interesting. I think it's fascinating that this still has a following. I often get letters with a picture of myself, and they want me to sign as an autograph. A friend of mine went on eBay and he typed in my name and found that, this is really funny, that one of the signed autograph pictures is on eBay for $5.
It's nice to see that our efforts are not going unnoticed or unrewarded.
So very gratifying, very healing experience for me to see it through all these years and have it kind of finally find its audience and shine a little bit.
I'm tickled that I got to make Halloween 3 and work with Tommy Lee and John and Deborah again and Stacy.
I'm very proud to be part of it and proud to have been in it, and I love that people get the movie now because there were a lot of smarts behind the movie.
It's a good memory. It's a very good memory, and it's once in a while when I need to like pull strings and like get into like big theaters, and like VIP lounges, I say, dude, I was in Halloween 3, so, and it works every time I get right in. It's quite fun now.
I think as a standalone movie, Halloween 3 is fine. It's a good production, the story works, it has its shock value.
It's a great little movie on its own. It's a standalone film. Don't judge it by Michael Myers with or without. Just watch it for its own content, and it's a pretty good little movie.
Now, in retrospect, you look back at it, and it has its own charm, and in spite of the fact that it wasn't, as successful, to me that was okay because, I enjoyed, my adventure on Halloween 3.
It has slowly but surely accumulated that annual audience that loves Halloween, that loves the season, and loves the movie. So it's been very gratifying to notice that the fans are legion. They're out there. So thanks, fans. I'm really happy about that.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horror-thon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
I'm at the 14 freeway overpass from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I'm Sean Clark. Welcome to Horror's Hallowed Grounds. So now we're in Sylmar, California. San Fernando Road, 14840 to be exact, and this was the junkyard where Harry Grimbridge goes into to escape the suited individuals who are after him. It was filled with a lot of cars and trash and junk and whatnot. It was mostly set dressed from what I was told by Tommy Lee Wallace, but today it appears to just be vacant. So now we're at 22124 Sierra Highway. This is just down the road from the junkyard that Harry Grimbridge runs into. So feasibly, he could have actually ran here from there. This is also where Dr. Chalice comes in the end of the film. Now that don't make a lot of sense really if you think about it, because he was up in Northern California and how did he suddenly get here? Movie magic. Let's go take a look. This is where Dr. Chalice comes running up. You can see the stone wall here in the background. Now this has changed a great deal. Hasn't been a gas station in a long, long time. This is where the door to the gas station used to be. Now it's obviously just a wall, but it was through these doors that Dr. Chalice entered the gas station to try to warn the world about the pending doom that Connell Cochran was trying to put upon the children on Halloween. So now we're inside the gas station from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. The front doors were right here, and the television was right in this area. But today it's obviously very different. Now it's an office, and no more gas being sold here, nor candy given out on Halloween, unfortunately. Hey, Charlie, can we get another station?
You got it.
The Immortal Classic, followed by the big giveaway.
Pat yourself on the back, why don't you?
Come on. What's the matter? Don't you have any Halloween spirit? No.
So now we're at the Buccaneer in Sierra Madre, California. This is the bar where Ellie came in and met Dr. Chalice when he was having his 10 a.m. Saturday morning cocktail. Anyway, as you can see, it hasn't changed much. The paintings are still here on the wall. These two have been reversed from where they were. As you can see in the shot with Tom Atkins sitting there at the bar. The front of the bar, the entrance has been changed. There's now a window where there used to be a wall. But beyond that, the mural behind the bar is still the same, and it's still got that same charm it had back in 1982. The Buccaneer is located at 70 West Sierra Madre Boulevard in beautiful downtown Sierra Madre. When in town, I highly recommend you come by and get a cocktail. I did. Well, now we're in Kirstein Court here in Sierra Madre, California.
Bye.
In Halloween 3, this was the location where Tom Atkins, Dr. Chalice, makes the phone call to his disgruntled wife. He's got himself a six or a Schlitz, and he's ready to go party with that young girl. You know how it is. Help out a girl in distress, you know, lost her father and all. Way to go, Dr. Chalice. Right around the corner over here, coincidentally, happens to be the church from John Carpenter's The Fog, where Tom Atkins also got a little action with a young Jamie Lee Curtis. Guy's the pimp, what can I say? So now we're going to Santa Mira, California. This is actually...
Mr. Locations guy. You must be here for me. What gives?
We actually... Halloween 3.
Really?
I don't know.
You suck. Just be quiet. I'll smack you right in the face.
You know what? Elm Street 2 sucks. Think of that.
You're a fucking ass.
Irish Halloween masks?
California? You never know.
So now we're in beautiful Santa Mira, California, which in reality is Lolita, California. I'm standing in the spot where the welcome sign was located. And right behind me, that's the town of Lolita, AKA Santa Mira. Let's go down there and see who we bump into. So now we're in Santa Mira, California, which is actually Lolita, California, with Tommy Lee Wallace, writer and director of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Hello all.
When was the last time you were here?
I guess that would be 1982 when we
Oh, wow.
shot. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
What's it like coming back here, like almost, but basically 30 years later?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a little eerie. It definitely has retained its eerie quality, which is why we shot here to begin with. We scouted the hell out of Northern California before finding Point Reyes Station for the fog. We knew what we were looking for could be found up here somewhere.
So anyway, we're heading up to the alley. I believe this is the alley that Tom walks into after he goes to the market and picks up his hooch for the evening, right here. Yeah, he heads down here, and then it cuts to another location, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere in here, he walks by camera.
If we go this way, like standing right here, was one of the suited guys as they passed, and when they first came into town, the car's driving by, you see the silhouette of him standing here watching them as the town's all looking upon them, correct?
That's right.
This is why this alley doesn't look as foreboding, because that building was here. This was the Dublin Inn. The first time I came to Lolita, the phone booth was still here. And in fact, I have footage of me back in, I think, 1998, doing the famous duck that Tom Atkins does.
Now, that's something a director might not be aware of, is the difference between what was here and what we brought. I just assumed we brought that phone booth and plunked it down.
No, it was a real one. In fact, it was right about in this area right here. You know, I was wondering, you know, which, if any of these are the interior of the mask shop.
My memory fails me whether it was up here or in Sierra Madre, but if it was up here, it was this shop, and I'm kind of thinking it was.
This looks like this could be it.
I'm pretty sure we shot it here.
So, I do believe this is the place. This is where the masks display would have been, right here.
Yeah, we used, you know, probably a third of this store.
It was actually shot from
It was all
like
shot
this.
from this side going that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to find what happened to the sign that was above the masks, you know, that gorgeous sign. Any of that stuff, all those giant silver shamrock logos that were on everything. Hey, I mean, I walked by this place a dozen times and never knew this was the building. Well, here we are.
I have proven useful to you.
You have, sir. You have. you did something right, in addition to directing one of my favorite movies. So. All right, so we're here at the Rosa Shannon Motel now, which is filled with all kinds of colorful characters, as we're finding out. But fortunately, the owner of the building has been nice enough to let us actually go into the famous motel room which Tom Atkins and Stacey Nelkin stayed in. So let's go take a look, Sal. Shall we? Shall we? I think we shall. So, this is where the magic happens, so to speak. It's obviously changed a great deal.
Yes, like a doorway through to another room, which
Yeah.
This was just a motel room before. There used to be a bathroom over there, and of course the window looks like the same window. And
you're standing on the spot.
I'm standing on the spot where they did it.
There may still be some stains. I don't know, but it was a good thing to remodel. They're remodeling because of the destruction that Dr. Chalice created he just ruined this room for anybody else that stepped foot in it. So
where would you like to sleep, Dr. Chalice?
That's a stupid question, Miss Grimbridge. So it was right here where Dr. Chalice made his escape from this very window.
Yeah, it came out feet first, and off he went, and we were doing a lot of glide work thanks to John's experiences on Halloween, and then again on Halloween 2.
This was Garn's room here, Marge Gutman. That was her room.
Yeah.
That's changed drastically. They've completely remodeled the interior.
We jazzed it up pretty good. As I recall, I wanted to put a lot more neon on the roof line and stuff like that, but we did a pretty good job of making it funky 40s, 50s
and this
stuff.
Yeah, this was the entrance right here. It's now a private residence, so we can't go in, but As you can see, this was the motel office. This was the gas station, located at 2457 Eel River Drive, and it's seen better days.
You see the top of the factory sticking up in the background, and of course in the movie we had a logo, a silver shamrock logo on that thing. Made this town special for us was that idea of the factory town, the company town. For a little time there, it was like a Western, you know, stranger in town, people watching them go by, all of that stuff. You can really, especially with some good music like what John was coming up with, you can generate an awful lot with very little, just the simplest tricks, people watching.
So how did the name Santa Mira come about?
Well, to horror movie fans, hardcore horror movie fans, Santa Mira will be familiar as the name of the town in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I wanted to pay tribute to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and so throwing the name of the town in, doing the ending the way we did, which is a direct homage to Don Siegel and the invasion ending that was supposed to be with Kevin McCarthy straight into the camera, "You're next, you're next." That's where the movie was supposed to end. And so I felt like this one's for Don, you know, since he had to put this stupid bookend on the original, which mars it slightly since it makes it all safe and nice and everything's going to be all right. So I wanted to rectify that somehow.
So now we are in front of Silver Shamrock Novelties, the actual factory here in Lolita. Ta-da! Which used to be a powdered milk factory many moons ago. And I'm a total nerd because I'm wearing the shirt. That's right, deal with it. So you actually didn't film inside this location?
Only to get to certain little places up high where we sent Tommy Atkins tiptoeing along the roof line and climbing through a hatch or a door of some sort, and going up a ladder and stuff like that.
There's somebody up there right now. Or Dr. Chalice was sneaking around. I think it might be one of the suits, you know, years later has retired his suit and he's just kind of hanging out now. Not sure what to do. He's a confused robot. So this is the garage that the suits,
the bad guys took.
Yeah, took Stacy and parked their little bad guy cars.
Yeah, and Dr. Chalice was out here floating around in amongst all of this that was at the time didn't have all these slats in it.
Yeah.
And
right over here is the window that he breaks into. Yeah, I remember he kind of scaled along the bottom there and pushed the window open and got in.
Yeah.
So now we're in the rear of Silver Shamrock Novelties. And right over here, this was where Ellie's father's car was hidden, correct?
Yep. It was pretty cool too. There were lots of gray suits dotted all up in the place.
Yeah,
and
up on the
everywhere
corners.
Shooting details of people standing there in menacing positions. Originally wanted all of those guys to be redheads.
Mm-hmm.
That turned out to be impractical. Couldn't quite pull it off. I liked the opportunity to shoot up at, you know, low angles came easy here, obviously, with loading docks and things to work with. But to have a character standing up here the way I think Cochran did. But
yeah, exactly. It was like that. Very menacing, that menacing look he had.
Yeah. Yeah, and all he just seemed to do it so effortlessly.
Yeah.
It just exuded
evil.
Sinister qualities, evil.
Let's go see the final processing room, which is around the corner here. The final processing sign is gone, but the no admittance sign is still there, as seen in the film.
I wouldn't walk out there, Sean, honest.
No, he said it was okay.
Yeah?
He just said not to go up. Well, here, I'll test it.
Yeah. Be rolling when it falls through.
I think on the other side of the door was supposed to be what we see in the movie,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
With the piece
yeah,
of
you know,
Stonehenge.
audiences tend not to keep track of architecture. So how in God's name that gigantous room could have been on the other side of this door, since we can plainly see it, just leads to almost nothing on this side. But still, there's a little stairway leading down to, happens all the time in the movies.
Well, you know how that trick, architecture happened? Trade secrets. We don't tell. Hey, listen, sweetheart. Hey, you gotta get it off the air. Just get the damn commercial off the air. It could be the death of millions. Anybody watching. I don't know what it's these masks, these Halloween masks. They got this tag with a microchip, and I somehow it knows the song maybe from the goddamn commercial. I don't know. It makes the snakes come out of it, melting. I don't know the logistics. Just get the shit off the air. You need to take it off. I would like to see you take that off too. Hey, oh wait, you're getting me off track here. Hey, kids. Hey, you little bastards better take those masks off.
We're to excuse the interruption. We're having technical problems.
It's time. Watch the fucking commercial. See if I care. Sit there and watch it.
Please stand by.
Dark masks, gather round your TV set. Put on your
Still
masks.
one more channel.
Watch.
You need to turn it off. The third channel, please. Because there's only 3 channels. Please, for God's sakes, get it off the air. There's not enough time. You gotta turn it off, please. For God's sakes, please, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it! Oh, what's that? Oh, you got it? Oh, thanks a lot. Now, yeah, appreciate that. They said they got it. So now, what fucking city is this? Make sure you come by and get yourself a cocktail. I did. I missed my straw. Okay, just talking to one another.
I don't want to talk to your ass, motherfucker.
Gee, this is tedious for me to even be here with you. Just wanting you to know this right now.
Yeah.
Elm Street 2 sucks.
I know, don't rub it in.
At least he's honest. Knock this fucking guy out in a minute. We're filming here for like 20 minutes. The longer you talk, the longer we gotta stay.
Yeah, well, I think we go pretty quick. How about you do that, huh?
How about you sucking this? Why don't you come find out? Give it a shot, buddy. Come on. All right. Elm Street. Fuck, I fucked up the word. That's a good one, too. Elm Street 2. Elm Street 2 sucks.
You don't really know much about Halloween. Witchcraft. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red. Halloween The dead might be looking in.
Stop it!
The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. Happy Halloween.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
First, there was Halloween. Then the terror continued with Halloween 2. Now, Halloween 3, the night no one comes home.
The world's going to change tonight, Doctor.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Happy Halloween.
Rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you. Check newspapers.
It's almost time. Time for Halloween Fright. A Halloween night where no one comes home. For the first time on TV, Halloween 3.
Happy Halloween.
Season of the Witch. A debut network special presentation coming up next.